So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a younger and more beautiful me. Maybe for the next month or two till these hairs grow back again with whatever I've left up here. So, anyway, today we're going to be covering Moon Rahu in the seventh house of your birth chart. As in, what happens when Moon and Rahu are both conjunct in the seventh house of your birth chart. And as always, if you do not know if you have this particular position, what sign it's in, what nakshatra it's in, along with all your astrological details, check out the links here. KRSastrology.com, where you'll find my books, reports, consultations, and link to my academy, Vedic Astrology Academy, where I'm actually currently also teaching the Nandi Nadi course, which is actually the easiest form of astrology. I'll always say this. This is like the first form of astrology I think anybody should learn before jumping into the calculus science of Vedic Jyotish, Parashri Jyotish. Um, so anyway, seventh house. So what is the seventh house? Seventh house is obviously the house of marriage, relationships, business, contracts, but it's also the house of other people. What do I mean by other people? Let's say somebody knocks on my door. I go and open the door. So whoever that person is, when I open the door, that's the seventh house for me. Whether it's Uber Eats, whether it's the gardener, whether it's the FedEx guy, UPS person, whoever it is, they're the seventh house. So whatever, let's say business you're in, your customer comes in, walks in the door. That's the seventh house. So seventh house represents the world outside of the familiarities that you know, right? You know your family, your siblings, your friends, your mother, your children, your maternal aunts and uncles. But now the seventh house comes. This is why you got to understand your spouse was a stranger first. Complete stranger from either complete foreign lands, different family, never met them, and then they come in front of you. That's the seventh house. So here you have Moon Rahu. So one thing you will see with this particular person, especially before marriage, this person will have too many changes in relationships or too many interest in relationships. One minute they're falling in love with this person. The next minute they're falling in love with that person. The next minute they're lusting after this person. Then the next day they lust after that person. Why is that? Because moon is changes. Moon is movement. Is that simple. And then you have Rahu here. Rahu is expanding moon's quality. And moon is embracing it. Moon is getting impregnated with Rahu's quality. Because remember, moon is the womb. So it impregnates itself with whatever energies that comes to it. So here, a person will always be interested in meeting people of different culture, different ethnic background, exotic people's in relationship. Usually it shows that the person that they will marry, either they're going to meet them in a foreign place or they will be outside of their community. So even let's say, for example, you're a Sharma, right? Your last name is Sharma. You meet somebody who's a Verma, and yet they are like from a different state. That's how these things work. It doesn't have to be somebody, completely different of ethnicity and culture, because those things are really will be seen on the sign that is placed. Sign will obviously bring in a big, like for example, air signs will bring somebody from far away. Fire signs will actually bring somebody much more closer to your vicinity of your culture, your ethnicity, your family background, but they'll still be different. But the thing is here with Moon and Rahu, there's always this tendency to kind of obsess after uh, the seventh house things. Like for example, and I've seen this over and over again when I do readings of people who are in their 20s, who are in their teens, they're desperately wanting somebody. They feel alone. They feel empty. They feel like incomplete unless they have that relationship come to them. Because see, Rahu represents your ambition and goals, and the and we have a mind. So ambition and goals is meeting the mind. Mind is constantly bombarded with the ambition and goal of being with somebody. So this person, now of course you may have other conjunction here that could make and change that difference. Like for example, if you have Mars or Saturn, they will bring a much different perspective here. We'll get into that when we get into three planetary conjunctions. But here, mind is occupied by Rahu, and Rahu always is empty stomach. The esophagus is always empty. They always need that. So especially this person is in those situations where if their spouse leaves, they feel uncomfortable. If their boyfriend, girlfriend leaves, they're just like, for example, they had to go for a 3-4 day trip, and they'll just be like waiting for that time when they arrive and they can kiss them and hug them. But at the same time, Moon Rahu will also show that this person will have a strong influence of desiring to go far away from where they are. Okay. And they want to be in places which are vast. Like, for example, vast doesn't have to be like some vast ocean, although that could be a very strong thing, especially with the spouse can come from a place of vast oceans, vast body of water where the spouse lives. But what they mean, like how somebody in village says, my dream is to go to that big city. I want to live in New York City. Somebody, let's say in an Indian village, saying, I want to live in a Manhattan, New York City. So their mind is wanting to expand that big thing. And the reason why they would say these quotes, especially because Moon is the original fourth lord. Regardless of your ascendant, is the original fourth lord. It'll always carry the energy of the fourth house. So fourth lord, the original fourth lord, is Bhavat Bhavam from itself, meaning fourth from the fourth is the seventh house. The mind is always occupied in how do I go and expand myself. But the thing is, because of this hallucination or this obsession of the seventh house, they forget about their own goals. Because remember, who's in the ascendant then? Ketu. They're all about, like for example, this person could be very giving in a marriage or relationship. That like if they meet, let's say, a girlfriend, and she's like, my ambition is to become an IS officer. Boom, they will be so much about them becoming an IS officer that they will make sure they're reading the right book. They will, no, you study. I'll take care of this for you. I want you to study. It could be to the point of smothering, but it is a type of conjunction that could work very well if it's in a balanced state, that this person will always look out for you first. They want your goals to be accomplished because they feel like if they helped you to accomplish those goals, the glue kind of gets strengthened and strengthened. Like a wet glue or cement is drying up. They're like, okay, this person will be with me. They will be with me. And they will do that. They could become subservient to the other person. And then, especially when it comes to business, they have a hard time dealing with business of just one thing. They'll always want a change in business. They'll always be like, like for example, a greatest business of all. What is the greatest business of all? First of all, in philosophy, in general, in business, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? What is that one company we know that never changes because of the era, the fashion, what the society want, never changes. They are who they are. They have always been the same, which is what? Rolex, right? Rolex watches. They will never change. They only do their own. They're like, this is our universe. You can come and enjoy our universe, but we'll always be in our universe. So they have that one thing and that's it. They're not going to change any trend. I don't think there's ever going to be any digital Rolex watches. Okay. So what happens with them, they're like, if they're running Rolex, they'll be like, oh, let's do this. Let's add an Apple Watch with this Rolex watch, and then we can do this. And then tomorrow they'll be like, oh, this AI thing is coming. We got to add AI in our watch. They're always going to be wanting that change in their business, especially what happens here. Like Rahu keeps eating and Moon keeps getting itself impregnated. So that means 1 minute they want to be in a wristwatch with business. The next minute they're going to want to be in a belt business. Or next minute they're like, okay, now the crypto is hot. We got to do something with crypto. Okay, now it's like it's a very wavy mind, and especially if it's in like air signs, it'll definitely be wavy, which means instead of actually wanting to do multiple business, one should actually think of just being an entrepreneur. That once I've accomplished this and set up this business, okay, let me accomplish this, let me accomplish this, then it works, because then you're flowing with the energy of Moon Rahu. But if you're Moon Rahu in a family business of, let's say, you have a cement factory, you have a factory of producing, manufacturing clothes, whatever it is, this person is just not going to like that. If they take that over, they can actually want to completely change it, or always have constant changes in there. And especially when it comes to marriage, they're going to want to explore many things in the marriage. Okay, how about we go here, do this? As a couple, we haven't taken any dancing lessons. Let's take dancing lessons. So whatever your cultural preference is, whatever society you grew up in, you're going to desire to experience the different things, especially pre-marriage and post-marriage. And then, of course, we see involvement of the mother becomes very important. Involvement of the mother becomes very important within the marriage. Certain decision may actually be strongly controlled by the mother. And also, you will see you and your mother will have a very strong either face feature or body structure of paternal grandparents. Mother will not look like her own parents, but if your mother has pictures of the paternal grandparents, look at that, and you will look just like that. Why? Because both of these conjunction are pretty much in that 1-7 axis. Okay, there's a lot more we can go into it, which we will later. Okay, so anyway, guys, this is my analysis of Moon Rahu conjunction in the 7th house. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below so you don't miss these type of videos. So you want to know where your Moon and Rahu are placed along with all your cycle details, check out the links here. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Bye bye.